Okay, so Israel has just bombed the crap out of the Gaza Strip in retaliation to what Hamas has done. So if you guys don't know, um in the Gaza Strip there is an armed group that is tasked with keeping order in the Gaza Strip. They are a de facto government. Um, Hamas, some people call them terrorists, some people call them a form of government. And they stormed the barrier from the Gaza that separates the Gaza Strip from Israel. And they pretty much just did a skirmish over the border. They went, they took hostages, they captured prisoners, they did kill innocent people. They did. But is there really such a thing as an innocent person when you are living on stolen land? When your ancestors have captured people's homes and are currently living in people's homes that you stole? I'm trying to be very unbiased on this situation, but it's fairly obvious that the state of Israel is not a moral nation. They basically said, "Oh, we lived here 2000 years ago. Our God has told us that this is our hope. So we're going to kick you guys out. We're going to forcibly remove you guys from the home and put you in this makeshift open air prison." And then once these prisoners fight back and finally push back and try to break out of the prison, and then they are called terrorists. They are called rebels. They are called everything under the book. Everything in the book. They are called terrorists, rebels, violent criminals, all the names. But when Israel bombs them, when Israel kills them, the media is silent. Nobody calls Israel a terrorist for taking the Palestinians' homes. No one. So why the double standard? Why does our government, the American government, have unwavering, literally unwavering support for Israel? But we don't have any support for Palestine, for the Gaza Strip. For the West Bank, we have zero support. And that, my friend, is because of lobbying. Israel sends a bunch of money to our government, and it's basically legalized bribing. They say, hey, we'll give you $10 million if you act within our interests. So think about this: a foreign country is sending the American government, money in order to act within its interest. That is insane. I thought our government was supposed to act within our interest of the citizens who live here, not a foreign country. Why are we answering to a foreign country? We are. It's just insane. It's insane. And America has basically given Israel billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars throughout its lifetime. We've given them weapons, we've given them money. Israel is given so much money, it's basically a welfare state at this point. I mean, the people who live there, they don't have to work, they don't have to do anything because there's just so much foreign aid, and it's a small country. So if you give $10 million, that can cover a large percentage of the country. And do we get any thank you from Israel? Do we put any strings? Do we send the money with strings attached? No, we don't. Unwavering support. We'll give you more money. We'll give you as much as you need. We don't need anything from you. We'll just give you money forever, indefinitely. And this is the result. A spoiled brat, which is Israel, just treats everyone who is non-Israeli as a utter animal. Like literally, they called Palestinians animals. They said these are human animals. Look it up. Look it up. So I'm going to go through some of this footage. So this is the security video. Security video shows when Hamas entered Beirut, Israel. So let's watch this. So yeah, they're storming over the checkpoints, which really there shouldn't be a checkpoint in the first place. Why are there so many checkpoints? Why are there so many walls? And what this is really doing is making the Palestinian people feel like they're in a cage, feeling like they're in a prison. So when they start to realize they literally cannot leave, you cannot leave the Gaza Strip. You cannot do anything. They control it from the sea. But all land ports are controlled by, guess what? Israel. Palestinians are trapped. They are isolated. Israel controls the food and water supplies. They control everything. It's a prison. So when you have that much control over a people, you should, in theory, have a lot of responsibility over what happens to those people. If they control what is getting through the checkpoints, then how do they let Hamas have weapons? Shouldn't Israel take responsibility for that? Like, oh, we slipped up. We accidentally let Hamas get weapons in. But no, they don't do that. They say, oh, Hamas got weapons over our secure border. So what we're going to do is we're going to bomb all Palestinians. We're going to kill innocent people, including children, as collective punishment, which is a violation of international law. You cannot do collective punishment. You cannot shut off the water supply to 2 million people just because a few bad ones did something wrong. You can't do that. This is blatant violation. So all they are doing, all Israel is really doing, is they're inspiring another generation of freedom fighters, making people sympathize with Hamas. Now, I'm not going to say I support Hamas because they are extreme, but when you live in extreme conditions, what do you expect? Like, come on, when you have that much suffering in such a small contained area, what could you possibly expect? So let me scroll through here. Yeah, they're basically storming. And notice how they don't have really any sort of real military. It's just a bunch of guys on motorcycles because they can't afford. They're not really a country. They're more like an occupied people. They're living on the equivalent of a Native American reservation or a section of apartheid South Africa. They're not really a well put together country, and they don't have a good military. So this is all they can do to fight back. So let me go to a different video. So to give you guys more context, I am going to be watching this video right here. So Israeli soldiers, not random civilians, Israeli soldiers, backed by the strongest country in the world, which is the American government, they are shooting at children for doing nothing but protesting, for being angry at their messed up situation. You support this. You allow this to go on. This happens every day. This is not a once in a lifetime event where an Israeli soldier shoots a random civilian. This is happening every single day. somebody shot a child. But now these same people were ignoring when Palestinians were killed, they want to come out the woodwork and condemn Hamas for their brutal treatment of civilians. Keep it. Just judge people the same across the board. Why do you have to judge Israel or judge Palestine to a higher standard than Israel? Why do they get special treatment for their mistreatment and misdeeds towards civilians? If anything, Palestine should be treated towards a higher standard, considering that the entire country of Israel was controlled and occupied by Palestine first. The entire country was called Palestine before the British gave the Jewish people a blank check saying, yeah, here's your free country, even though the British government had zero authority to do that. They can't just give away somebody else's country. So a bunch of Jewish people immigrated there and quote unquote settles. Really, it's colonialism. It's not settling. That's how they downplay the brutality and the injustice by changing words. Instead of calling it colonialism and apartheid, we're gonna call it settling. Oh, we settled somewhere. Oh, I'm settling. No, that's not what it is at all. And then instead of calling the people who decide to fight back, who throw rocks, instead of just taking it, throw rocks, they protest, they call them all terrorists. So for protesting, they call you a terrorist. And they set up, who's the real terrorist? The people who set up automatic AI machine guns pointed at children? Or the people who protest this injustice? You make up your mind. So let's watch another video. So these are immigrants from Europe who settled in a land already occupied by people that have been there for thousands of years. That all throughout recorded history, not in a book, a religious book. The people who have been there all throughout recorded history, the people called Palestinians. And these European converts, which are not at all proven to be the Jewish people of the Bible. Nobody knows who the Jewish people of the Bible is. If you think, oh man, I'm the real Jew, you have people, black people claiming to be the real Jews, you have white people claiming to be the real Jews, you have Asians claiming to be the real Jews. Literally every kind of people on the face of the earth is claiming to be the main characters of this book. Do you see where the problem starts? Let's start being objective. Okay, let's not start claiming that we're the main characters in a 2,000-year-old book. Okay? Oh, my book is better than your book. Oh, wow, you disagree with my book? Oh, I'm gonna bomb you. Like, come on, man. It's no wonder humanity is in the state it is. People can't look at things objectively. So Of course, there's going to be conflict. There's going to be fighting. There's going to be mistreatment when you see everyone who doesn't believe in your book as a heretic, as subhuman. Oh, they're not God's chosen. Oh, I don't have to listen to you. You're not God's chosen. I don't have to treat you like a human being. You're not God's chosen. And this is where the problem starts. People aren't in reality. People aren't looking at the here and now and would rather look at a 2,000-year-old book who they don't know is, let's just be real. They don't really know if it's real or not. They don't. Now, a lot of people aren't going to like me saying that, but unless you were there when the book was written, witnessing all the stuff that was in the book, you can't say it. Religion is based on faith for a reason. Now, you have a right to believe in whatever you want, but don't treat anybody poorly because they don't believe in the same book you believe in. Okay? And yeah, the Palestinians were definitely the first people in Israel. Or Palestine. It was called Palestine before Israel. Yeah, they are the native people, the confirmed native people, and European settlers, European colonizers, backed by the West, backed by America. They have no rights to live in the Middle East. They are not Middle Eastern. They are not from the region. They have no ties to the region. And if it wasn't for American military aid and American free money going towards Israel, they wouldn't be there in the first place. America needs Israel in order to have a military base in the Middle East. Israel is just one giant military base. Let's be real. There's so many Americans immigrating there. There's so many Europeans immigrating there. It's completely westernized. Okay, it's literally that. And in order to create this military base, you need to displace millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of people. I think there's like 13 million Palestinians who had to flee to make way for Israel. And those that are left live in the most brutal conditions known to man. The largest open air prison in the world. So let's go to one more video. So this is a Israeli woman saying, "Get out of the country. This is not for you. You are not the same ethnicity as me, so therefore you need to get out." This is what we saw during the 1920s in America. Racism. If you were black, they told, matter of fact, it might be worse. It probably is worse because they didn't tell you to get out of the country. It will probably be more comparable to what the Native Americans faced when they were treated like second-class citizens. But even then, they didn't live in an open-air prison with freaking AI cameras everywhere. So I don't know. It's close. It's close, but yeah, this is terrible. Apartheid South Africa has nothing on this. This is way worse. Way worse. Just the amount of control Israel has over the Palestinians. They're just foaming at the mouth over how they can kill the Palestinians, how they can torture the Palestinians, how they can come up with any excuse they can to wipe Palestine off the face of the earth. This is what they think. They think that these people have no rights to live in the land their grandparents lived in, their great grandparents lived in. So they will do anything, and that includes mass genocide, mass bombing, white phosphorus bombing, brutalizing them, um, using AI to literally track their every movement. This is a human rights violation. And since the international community has done nothing to hold Israel accountable, you will see massive uprisings like we've seen 2 days ago. You will see them finally trying to break out of the prison, which is Gaza, and lashing out, just lashing out all their anger, all their pent-up frustration, just lashed out. They could not take it anymore. They had enough. They are willing to fight back. When you can no longer push back against an authoritarian regime peacefully. I mean, people get shot every day in Israel for peacefully protesting. Children are shot for literally holding up a Palestinian flag. They just get shot. And if you guys haven't seen the documentary 5 Broken Cameras, it is one of the most heartbreaking documentaries you could possibly see, because it is a story of Palestinians protesting. Not a single violent attack from the Palestinians. And dozens of people get shot, dozens of people get brutalized, dozens of people get hit. In the start of the documentary, they were living peacefully. And then by the end, the Israeli government has constructed barriers, fences, wires, and put a bunch of settlers in their homeland. If you were living there, how would you feel? If you were living there for all of recorded history, how would you feel? Would you just sit down and take it? Would you just say, yes, Mr. Israel Master, yes, I'm going to leave my own country. I'm going to live as a second-class citizen. I'm going to have my every move watched, and I will do whatever you say. No, most people would rise up if they lived in that situation. Imagine if China just started building a bunch of settlements in America and says, "Oh, this is open country. This is vacant land," even though there's millions of people living here, and they just took up more and more and more land until all American citizens were living in isolated ghettos. And China controlled the water, China controlled the food, China controlled the farmland, China controlled the electricity. How would you feel? Do you think Americans would just sit down and take it? No, we obviously fight back. And China will make up any sort of excuse to punish those that want to fight back by calling them a terrorist, by calling them a rebel, by saying they are evil, by saying they're animals. They will come up with any sort of excuse to punish, collectively punish the people of America. This has happened before, all throughout recorded history. Genocide. It's happened to the Jewish people, where they were put inside concentration camps and starved, stripped of water, stripped of food, starved to death. And the whole international community went in to save them. Britain went in to save them. They said, "Oh, this is a human rights violation. We cannot allow this." But when it happens to the Palestinians, nobody's coming in to save them. They are just expected to slowly phase out of existence. That is the situation playing out. A slow starvation, a slow genocide. a frog boiling in the pot method to erase an entire group of people that have been living there all throughout time. Is this fair? Are we supposed to make way for the Europeans who think, yes, think they lived there 2,000 years ago? Are we supposed to do that? Well, if that's acceptable, is it okay for black Jews to just start invading America? Those black Hebrew Israelites to say, oh, America was our homeland, so we're just going to invade. We're just going to start our own country, and all this is chosen land. Now imagine how long that would last, though. It will get put down, they will get attacked, they will get slaughtered, they would be defined as terrorists, obviously. But because Israel is given special treatment, held to a lower standard than any other country, they are allowed to invade an entire region. So let me see here. So watch this. So this Jewish man was told to not fraternize with the Palestinians because if they do, bad things will happen. So they are brainwashed from the moment they immigrate to Israel to hate Palestinians. Um, and then this guy went to the Palestinian area anyway, and he was actually treated pretty nice. He was given 5-star treatment. Now, obviously, if the Palestinians go into the Jewish area and start talking to Jews, they will be treated like this. So you see where things are going wrong here. Um, I really don't have any words for this. This man explained wonderfully how the cycle of hate is perpetuated. Um, Israelis and Palestinians have hated each other for the last 50 years, and they will continue to hate each other for the next 50 years because it's ingrained within the system. When you have an oppressed class of people constantly being dehumanized, and you have an authoritarian regime brainwashing its citizens into thinking Palestinians are less than human, you will have these kinds of situations playing out where one group rises up against the other, and then the colonial class says, oh, see, they're violent, they're evil, and then freaking dishes out 20 times the number of casualties to the oppressed class. This will continue to happen because each side will start using their propaganda, and it just so happens Israel has a better propaganda machine to brainwash the international community into thinking it's the Palestinians that just, oh man, they're evil, they're this, they're that, and they have millions of dollars. Again, Israel is pretty much a giant military base for the United States. So they can get a foothold in this region, so they can get oil, so they can have what's the word? Yeah, so they can have oil in the region. It's crazy. It's crazy. And as an American, I feel extremely guilty that we are perpetuating this crisis. We are responsible for every single death as long as we keep giving Israel money without demanding fair treatment in return. Fair treatment for all of its citizens. And a lot of people say, oh, we need a two-state solution. So apartheid? So like separate but equal during Jim Crow? That doesn't work. You need a one state with both Israelis and Palestinians living together. But Israelis don't want that because they know if they form into one state, oh, we won't be a majority. Oh, boo-hoo. Boo-hoo. They said the same thing in South Africa. They said the exact same. So you're supposed to, a minority is supposed to rule over a majority? What could you possibly use to justify that? Unless you're saying, oh, these lives matter more than their lives, and that's literally apartheid. Okay, I can't take anybody. Like, if you believe that, you just suck. Okay, you just suck. Oh, people are getting real sick of this crisis. It's been going on for 75 years, and it's the dumb people who don't understand, who have taken 0 seconds to understand how this conflict has started, that are the ones perpetuating it. You are perpetuating the violent, domineering, colonial culture in Israel if you don't take the time to research how this conflict started. It's been going on since the 1800s. It's settlers rushing in, claiming things that is not there, and acting like you are the bad guy once you try to take that same land back that you were illegally kicked out of. According to international law, it's illegal to take somebody else's land. And if they do take your land, you have a right, a right to fight for it back. Okay, just like the Native Americans fought the colonizers, the European settlers. They called colonizers European settlers when they started flooding into America in millions, saying, this is mine, this is mine, this is mine, this is mine, this is mine. And the Native Americans are like, what? I've been living here for hundreds of years. So you know what? Common sense will tell you to fight back for your land. There's nothing you can say, do, think to convince me otherwise. They have a right. Now the method they are using, the current method they are using to fight for it back, it's debatable, but how come nobody criticized Israel when they did the same thing? An article, Israeli soldiers have been raping Palestinian women, killing Palestinian children, and not a peep from the international community. Not a peep. Look it up. There's article after article after article after article of Palestinian women and children being raped and killed. Nothing. Nothing. No lowering the aid to Israel. No defunding Israel. Did you know it's illegal to boycott Israel in 30 U.S. states? 30. So 2/3 of America, it's illegal to criticize a foreign country or boycott them. Do you know how utterly insane that is? That alone justifies our defunding of Israel. That alone justifies our boycott of Israel. No, I've been banned from several platforms for even saying this. So that just shows you how much they are trying to protect their interest at the expense of Palestinians. You cannot support the Palestinians without criticizing Israel. You can't. You have to criticize Israel because Israel started this conflict in the first place. No business coming here, no business moving to somebody else's land. How would you like it if a bunch of people just start flooding into America, claiming, how would you like it? Claiming they were the true owners of this land because we lived here thousands of years ago and our book said we live here. No, not right. So I think this is one more video. So there's one more video I'm going to watch. So we're saying this is our land. We bought it. So he thinks because you buy something, that means it belongs to you. Now imagine living peacefully, living off the land. You don't have to participate in this oppressive system. Then a bunch of random strangers from across the world start immigrating there, telling you, no, 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 no. You can't live on this land without doing exactly what we say. We're going to move you somewhere else. It's sick. If you think this is right, you are sick. There's no other words. You cannot support Israel. You just can't. And then at the same breath call yourself an ethical human being. You can't. You either hate Palestinians because you've bought the propaganda Israel has told about them, or you're racist, or you just unconditionally love Israel no matter what they do. Even if they carpet bomb. I think 1 year Israel killed 30,000 Palestinians. 30,000. 30,000 civilians killed in 1 year. And guess how many civilians Israel lost? Under 1,000. So that means for every one Israeli killed, there are 30 Palestinians killed. Are you insane? And it's their land. They were there first. And you see how Israelis operate. They just grab something owned by a Palestinian, say it's theirs. There's a video saying, if I don't take your house, someone else will. So it came up. So this video is probably one of the most disturbing videos that has came out. Just sickening. It makes me want to throw up. It's so disgusting. An American has moved to Israel, taken somebody else's land, said if I don't take your house, somebody else will. So let's watch this. So stealing somebody else in a sane country, in a sane society, if somebody walks on your property and starts lying in your bed, starts eating your food, starts locking you out of your own house, you have a right to kick out that trespasser. in a sane society, but Israel is not a sane society. It's not a fair society. It's not an equal society. So, what happens is the Israeli government will kick out the Palestinians who were there for first and send them to a place like the Gaza Strip to live on a open air prison, to live out the rest of their life in tasting poisonous water, eating poisonous food, in a constant state of starvation, in a constant state of surveillance and bombing. That is what they will do. Now, you can't be a sane person and think this is right. You just can't. So for all the people saying, yeah, we support Israel, Hamas, the bad guy. Really? Because from everything I have been told, Palestinians have a right, not a religious right, but a right to fight back. They have a right to take back their land. From all codes of ethics in the history of humanity, they have a right. Oh, but Israel, they were in the book from 2,000 years ago. That's their land. Oh, come on, man. This conflict is the biggest IQ test ever. It's the best IQ test ever. If somebody believes Israel is in the right, they have to be under like 80 IQ. If you have read into the context of when this conflict started, how it started, how the British just gave away land already occupied by not hundreds of thousands of people, but millions of people who had their own ethnic group, who had their own culture and society and way of life, you would not agree with it. What the British should have done is recanted. They said, okay, no, we're not going to give away this land. Sorry, Israel. We can't give you your own state because people are already living here. Let's try to find somewhere else. But instead, they double, they triple, they quadruple down, saying, yes, Israel is here. This is a place for... No, it's not. They're Europeans. Europeans. And there's no evidence, zero evidence that they lived there 2,000 years ago. There's none at all. For all we know, the original Jews no longer exist. They could be like extinct and we wouldn't even know. That's why you have black people claiming to be Jews. That's why you have people from all around the world claiming to be Jewish. Hebrew Israelites. You have extremist Israelis claiming to be God's chosen. Everyone wants to be the main character of this book. I'm not going to sugarcoat this video because I have to speak out on this. This is one of the biggest injustices on the face of the earth. Just like how American slavery was during the 1800s. Just how like apartheid was during the 1980s. It is one of the biggest injustices on the face of the earth. And this video proves it. This video proves it. So if you guys don't know what the Nakba is, it's when Israel illegally took thousands of miles worth of, hundreds of miles worth of Palestinian land. They said, this is my country now. Even though you've been living here, this is my country now. And they took it under threat of violence. Guns drawn. They just said, pointed guns at him and said, hey, get out of this home. This is for Jews now. This is for God's chosen people. And Palestinians are like, okay, I'll get out, but I'm going to return later, right? And then Israel said, yeah, you can return later. And then they immigrate. They flee to a whole bunch of different countries trying to escape violence. And then when they try to return, they find a bunch of European Israelis living there. So their houses were taken by force. Europeans moved in. When they try to come back, they are denied from even living in the communities, which is another form of oppression. They're not able to live within the country they were born in. Okay, we can debate the state of Israel all we want, but if Israel is going to exist, it has to be an equal society with both Palestinians and Jews. Okay, living together, coexisting. A lot of people who are going to say, oh, that's not going to work. We need a Jewish only. No, are you serious? So you want a mono-ethnic culture. Anything else is not worth having. Imagine if America just said, we want a whites-only country. This country is for white Christians only. Do you know how outrageous that would be? So there's not a whole huge difference when a European Jew says, we want a white Jew-only country. Just swapped religions. So I want you guys to think about that. This is a huge injustice and it needs to stop.